Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of our Mk1 GTi restoration. Today we're going to be starting on the paint correction side of things, namely with the bonnet first of all. But first things first, we need to do some paint depth measurements, get this car taped up so that we're not going to damage any trim, and then we'll get cracking on the paint correction work itself. Oh, I love taping, said no detailer ever. A lot of plastic trim on that car, that took some doing. We haven't even done it all yet, we've just done the areas we're going to start with on the car. We'll do these when we come to do it, otherwise the paint, hope the paint doesn't peel off. The tape will no doubt peel off over the next couple of days with any moisture in the air, so just doing the areas we're going to start with. Did some paint depth readings. We also already had an idea of the type of thickness we were working with. We did some readings on this for the owner when he first purchased it. We used the next gen paint depth reader, which not only tells you the thickness of the paint, but it also tells you what is below, if there's filler, the type of metal the panel's made with or not metal. Really clever bit of kit. The bad news for us is it's extremely thin paint. When we say thin paint, we mean thin paint. A modern paint system might be, on average, say 110, 130 microns thick. And that's actually quite thin. That includes obviously the base, the paint, the clear coat, everything, the full system. This paint is not clear coated, it's old 2-pack paint. So we're polishing onto the paint itself, not clear coat, which obviously presents some issues itself anyway. But the average paint depth reading on this car is 45 microns. So that is going to be interesting with the level of defect that we are removing. When you're attacking defects like this, and you have paint that is a third of a modern paint system in thickness, you have to be careful. So we are going to be going in on this with the Chemical Guys Hex Logic finishing pads initially, and using a finishing polish, see how we get on with that. If not, we'll up it, maybe use a bit of Cartec 9000, which has a little bit more bite, but not too much. We've spoken to the owner, and we're both in full agreement that with how thin the paint is and the level of defect, that we are going for a I don't want to use the word compromise, because we're still making this look beautiful. We're going to make this look beautiful. But there is a point where obviously paint thickness and safety of the paintwork comes in against level of defect removal. But we'll see how we get on. I'm confident we'll get this looking absolutely gorgeous. Right, we've just done a little bit of a test area. As mentioned, we are polishing straight onto paintwork here, so you do get the paint transfer coming off onto the pad. And my nice grubby hands there. We have got the original paint there for a nice little control check, so you can see how full of defects it is. And this is the area we've just done a test on. Very hazy and very hologrammy. We actually used the Chemical Guys green Hex Logic in the end, which is a polishing pad with a finishing polish. But it looks like that might have been a touch aggressive actually, so we're going to drop it down a level to a finishing pad. I'm pretty confident that those holograms are pretty light surface and they should come out quite easily, meaning we should be able to achieve a really good finish on this without removing too much paint, which is good. But we're going to keep playing and we'll check back in when we've done some more of the bonnet and we can have a look at the results. Okay, a few issues. I mean, first of all, you can see, ignoring the holograms, we're having good success removing defects. But we're suffering a lot with sticky paint here. And now sticky paint is something that happens quite often when cars have got very soft paint. It means the pads hold on to the product more and clump it up rather than break down. Can be a right pain and can lead to marring and hologramming. So we're going to try a couple of things on this. I'm first of all just going to try a little bit of panel wipe, just in case it's just the surface of the car hanging on to some of those oils a bit too much. We might then actually try a little bit of refinement by hand, see how we get on there. Yeah, it's going to be a challenging on this, but we like a challenge. Okay, so we've just used a bit of the Cartec Refinish panel spray. It's very strong panel wipe, really good stuff. Now, we've had a bit more success now. It's not great, but it's better. Now, you can still see the hologramming, but the haze has gone. So some of it was definitely oils being held in the surface. So the next thing we need to tackle now is the hologramming itself. Boom, we have a result. We are going to have to cut by machine using a finishing polish on a very soft finishing pad. And this is refining by hand to get to this level of finish. There is a couple of heavier defects still in the paint. But with how thin the paint is, we're not going to risk chasing those. But when you compare to where we started, we have got to be pretty content with those results. So I do have some actual rather ultra finishing pads that I might try on the machine just to save a little bit of time. But at least we know we can achieve it. So it's going to be a slow one, this, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to come up really nicely. If we can get this level of finish all over, I will be more than happy.